Hello and welcome to episode 9. It's a beautiful day in Houston today. The sun is shining, it's spring, and that of course just makes for an extra happy, good mood. So I hope wherever you are watching from today, you're having a great day. So I am super excited to talk to my guest today. Her name is Kareen, and she is all the way from Canada. And she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a business coach. And I'm so excited to get to know her more because I don't know her very well. So we're both going to learn all about her together. So as soon as I see her pop on, we are going to go live. I'll connect her. But if you are watching for the first time today, I'm your host, Bridget. Therese. This is Empowering Women Through Fitness. And this show is just interviews with other women from around the world. Last week we talked to Lori in New Zealand. We've talked to people in Canada before, all over the United States, but it's really just about stories from other women who are doing great things, who have overcome lots of obstacles and are sharing their stories and empowering others. So this is just a collection of interviews, conversations more or less of other women that are just like you, but are actually just sharing their story. So if you ever want to share your story with the world, feel free to fill out one of the forms in the show links if you want to apply to be on the show. Or if you know somebody else who has an amazing story, I'm always looking for nominations. So let's see if we can see if she's on. I don't see her yet. So we just gotta wait till she joins. In the meantime, if you're watching on the replay, thanks for joining us. As always, I love to know where you guys are watching from. So if you wanna drop a comment in the box below and let me know where you're watching from, that's always fun too. So I'm gonna shoot her a message and tell her to get on the Facebook Live. Sometimes you gotta multitask when you do this on your own. But it's all good. Sometimes we have technical difficulties. I've learned to work through it, and it's just part of the journey. So it's all good. So anyways, once she gets here, we're going to jump on. We'll join, connect together. And as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. So excited to learn more about her. And I'm just stalling until I can see that she's here. Oh, and Peter says, proud of you. So nice to see you on, Peter. I hope you are doing well. We had some good times back in the day. We had some fun at a previous job. We got to work out together. Sylvia's watching from Quebec, Canada. Awesome. Thank you, Sylvia, or Sylvie. I've seen a couple other friends that are watching, so as always, thank you for popping on and joining. Let's see if she's here yet. Okay, well, we'll just give it a minute. But anyhow, next week, while we're waiting for Kareen to jump on, I'm going to be talking to Taryn, who I've actually been friends with her for a few years, but we've never met in person. We're just social media friends. I'm excited to be talking to her because she's going to be sharing her story of how she quit her corporate job and literally travels the world for a living. And I want to know how she's doing it, but she has the most amazing photos and a very interesting story. So let's see what is going on. Maybe she's back now. So this is the joys of doing everything live. Pete, good question. So Kareen is, she's an entrepreneur, so she's started multiple businesses. I've heard her share some of her story before. So she she talks about the first business she started, how she's kind of at the top of her success. She was gaining a lot of traction and how she almost lost her life, and how it kind of just put into perspective kind of that work-life balance, because she is a mom, she is a wife, but she also has that entrepreneur soul to her, which I can totally relate because I'm the same way. I'm a mom, but I also have this a heart for owning my own business and running my own company, so I can totally relate. So for those of you that don't know, I do social media management. I have an agency So that is what I'm doing full time now. I, of course, do my online nutrition and fitness coaching too. But my main focus these days has been my online social media agency. So that has been one of the joys. So if you ever need any help, just let me know. And here she is. Thanks for hanging tight, you guys. I appreciate it. And thanks, Sylvie, for that update. I appreciate that as well. So we'll give her a second to add, to connect. One of the amazing things about social media is connecting with people from around the world. There she is.
All right.
There
Crazy.
you are. That's okay.
Craziness.
I just had to talk to my friends for a little bit. No problem.
This technology is sometimes very annoying.
It's very annoying and very convenient all at the same time, right?
That's right.
How are you
I'm
today?
good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for joining. So, as with every show, I start. I go ask all my guests some icebreaker questions. So, if you are ready to get started, are you ready?
Yes. I hope I'll answer properly.
There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever
good.
you feel.
All right.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada, and also in Ottawa, Ontario. So I kind of did half and half there.
Okay. And where do you live now?
I live in Gatineau, Quebec, which is right across the river from Ottawa, Ontario, where I grew up.
So you didn't go too far?
Nope. That's right. Well, I left and came back, I should say.
You left and came back?
Yes.
Perfect. What are you grateful for today?
You know what? I'm very grateful that I'm actually able to do this live this evening. There's been so much going on, so it's really a privilege to be here with you this evening. So
yeah. The privilege is mine. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. If you could have lunch with anyone, who would it be and why?
These days, definitely Michelle Obama. Yes. I would love to sit down with her and just have a powwow moment, and pick her brain a little bit,
She's very poised and very very classy.
That's
so
right.
that would be a fun conversation to have. What is something you would like to learn? A new skill or something fun?
You know what? I'm really considering doing the skydiving thing, but not the real skydiving, okay? Because I went to Toronto not too long ago, and they have these places where you can do this inside a building. So it's kind of having that feeling, but I think it would be safer. I don't know. Yeah, that's my thought. So I'd like to try that.
Okay, that is almost pretty much the answer for what my next question is, which is what is one, well, there's two. First, I'll ask this one. What is one item you've checked off your bucket list?
Okay, checked off bucket list. Well, I would say I've been to the Bahamas, which is one thing I wanted to do. So I was able to go last year. So it was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the next thing is, it might be the skydiving thing. Something you want to check off your list.
Yeah, I guess the skydiving thing is definitely something I need to do it. I gotta do this. So yeah, I need to find somebody to do it with me because my sister-in-law doesn't want to do it. But yeah.
Oh, I would totally do it. I need to fly up to Quebec and go skydiving.
Or if there's a place like that in Houston, I will go.
There is. I think it's called Fly or something like that, where it's indoors and you do the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not done it.
Let's do it if you're serious.
Come on down. We can brainstorm.
Okay. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, Kareen, I want to know a little bit more about you. So what I told the viewers while we're waiting for you to connect is that you're a mom of 5 kids, by the way. I didn't mention that. 5 kids. You've been married 20 years. You've had a lot of success as an entrepreneur. I want you to take us back and tell us the story of it's kind of like your pivotal story where you almost lost your life and what happened.
Yes. So that was, I would say, now it's been like almost almost 10 years. Wow, it goes by so fast. So, as
Yeah.
you know, I have 5 kids, and I came to realize that, you know what, I could help moms have their kids and business too. So, I birthed a sixth child, which was my company called Mom Powered, and I just loved it. And the problem was I was doing too much. So I was doing workshops, I was doing coaching, consulting, training, but all at the same time. And there was a period of time where I had something back to back for 4 days straight. And I don't know if you have these trade shows in the States. I don't know if you've done any of those, but
I have not done, but we do have them.
yeah, so I did a trade show that one particular weekend, and uh, I was there 3 days straight. Okay, so morning to the evening, and then the next Monday after that, I had a full day of workshops. And so between the Sunday evening and the Monday evening, I realized that I forgot my plug for my laptop, which had all my material for my workshop the Monday morning. So I ended up realizing that they left with the plug, the organizers left with the plug. So I had to recreate all my material instead of just canceling. Okay, like
Oh my gosh.
overachiever craziness.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
you know, so instead of canceling, I spent all night recreating the material on my computer,
Mm-hmm.
put it on a key, and then I did not sleep. Okay, so I would say it was 4 days of no sleep, right? Really.
Oh my gosh.
And but I did that sleepless night that evening, and I
The last one.
I left for work. So my office was about maybe a half hour from where I lived, and I was
Mm-hmm.
actually taking my mom to work with me because she stayed with the kids the whole weekend because I was gone.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she saw me like, you know, I don't know what's the expression in English, but in French we say piquer des clous. You know, I was going like this, like
Okay.
almost every minute while we were
Oh
driving.
gosh.
And she was like, "Are you sure you're okay? Like, I don't think you should be going. I think you should be going back home." And I'm like, "No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
fine. I can do this, you know." So I
Yeah.
made it to the office. Okay.
Yeah.
I did the whole day. So I was on adrenaline at that point.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then, so I finished my day and I came back. So, of course, there was traffic. It was the end of the day.
I want to pause you before you get to
Yes.
the top of the story. So paint for us a picture. This is your successful business, right?
Yeah,
So tell us a little bit like you're on top, like
that's
you're
it.
gaining traction. Tell us that part.
Yeah, so it's amazing because the concept was really well accepted, you know, and so I was
Yeah.
getting on the radio. I was getting my blog was going all over the place, and I was getting featured and mentions, you know, all over online, and it was really booming. So, because the name of the
Mm-hmm.
company was Mom Powered, you know, and my motto was
Mm-hmm.
the next woman's revolution, right?
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a really amazing momentum. I was getting all of these invites with really amazing, meeting amazing local women entrepreneurs. And so I was really making a name for myself. And so that was really, really difficult when all of that happened. But yeah, so anyway, just to make a long story short, I got to my street. Okay, so I was seeing my building, and 1 minute, and the next minute I crashed into the building that was next to my building.
Oh my gosh.
My vehicle basically went inside the bottom apartment, the window of the bottom apartment. So half of my vehicle was dangling off the window sill. It was just crazy. And by a miracle, my chair reclined so that my head didn't get cut off.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Yeah, like it was just a miraculous thing. And in the city, like I obviously I blanked out. I have no idea till this day what happened, because 1 minute I was seeing my house, the next minute I was in, crashing in this building. So
Wow.
it was incredible. And the truth is, even when I got to the hospital, they released me. They just looked and say, okay, you can do this, you can do that, okay, you can go home. So they didn't realize how like tragic, this incident was just by looking at
Yeah.
me. So it was really a miracle that happened,
Yeah.
you know?
So they had no idea, like you just got out of a serious car
Yeah,
accident into a building
that's right.
and just walked away.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I came out with, a few bruises, cuts and bruises on my face with 8 cheap teeth, but a huge whiplash, like major whiplash. But the worst thing I believe happened was that I didn't realize the state of my own soul. Because when this happened, I wished I had died. you know,
Really?
I did.
Why?
I realized that I was sick inside, you know? For me, it was just like, why didn't I die? If I had died, then my family would have been taken care of, you know? For me, it was like, why am I still here? And I realized that I needed to do some changes inside. I needed to realize what was going on, because yes, I was building this business for my family, but at the same time I realized that I was sick inside, not realizing it. And
When you say sick inside, can you elaborate a little bit? Like, what do you mean that you were sick inside?
because if you lived through this experience and you wish that you had died, that
Mm-hmm.
means that there's really something wrong with your psyche,
Yeah.
you know, because
Gotcha.
you just came out in an amazing experience because you're alive, with
Yeah.
minor
You
cuts and
should be like,
bruises.
hallelujah.
Yeah, right?
But your reaction is
Exactly. My reaction
completely opposite.
was completely the opposite. And the truth is, in that period of time, you know, and all of them were not planned, right? So I
Gotcha.
I didn't feel like I was mother material,
Oh,
and
wow.
I felt that I was escaping by building this business. And I realized that all through this accident that I had, right? Because even
Yeah.
though my motto was, have your kids and business too, and, doing both, but I was spending so much time in my business that, and
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was to get to a certain level, but at the same
Right.
time, with this accident, I escaping because I didn't really believe that I was mother material. I didn't believe that I had what it takes. I mean, going from, one and then two, and then two from two to four, and then a fifth one after that, in a span of 5 years, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't realize there was probably like postpartum in there. Like there must have been
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
many things that I didn't pay attention to, right? Because I was chasing this dream, right? But it wasn't really incorporating my family as I thought it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even though the whole concept of your business was mompreneurs.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, so we need to talk about this now. So, um, and I totally lost my train of thought. My son just tried to FaceTime me like 3 times.
Oh
So
no.
I always try to call him before the show, but now he wants to FaceTime right now. And he's texting me and I can't text him.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. He can wait a couple minutes.
That's it.
So now, like, how do you change everything? Like, how do you let go? Because I can understand, because there's moments where I'm just like, I'm not the mom type. I would love to run a business and do that. Like, I couldn't be a stay-at-home mom, even though now I'm a stay-at-home business person. Whatever, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But so what do you do now? Where do you go from here?
Yeah, so I really had to really get a hold of what it is that I wanted to do with my family. So it had to start from the family and then expand. So my
Okay.
desire was to have a system that was established, and the number one thing when it comes to establish the system is to have a vision and a mission that is for the family and not just individual, you know. And
Yeah.
so, and we needed to figure out as a family what it is that we wanted, and each person in the family had a role to play as well, because this was our story, right? So it wasn't not just me, having this amazing success and going all out. So if it wasn't for that accident, I don't believe that my family would have been as involved as they are today in what we're doing today, because I would have been way too far in my success,
Yeah.
and maybe it would have led to a divorce, because at that point my husband was not supportive of this business
Wow.
because it was taking me away
Yeah.
from the family so much, right? So
Yeah.
and so when this happened, he was like, okay, you're done, that's it. you know
Cut off, mama.
that's it, you are done. So I had to let the dream die, right?
Ooh.
But when I did that, I was able to come to peace with the fact that, you know what, my family is really was the plan all along, because I think
Yeah.
when I went through this experience, one of the things that I realized is that I had this sense, and I'm sure some of your viewers will connect with this. I had the sense that there was something greater for me to do on the earth, like, I mean, I love the fact that, well, I didn't love it in the beginning, the fact that I was a
Yeah.
mom. I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom, that was not part of
Yeah.
my thought process. But I had to come to peace with that calling of motherhood, and
Yeah.
and really embrace it, and come to love the fact that, you know what, one of the reasons why I'm on the earth is because of those kids, you know, because of
Yeah.
those beings that,
Yeah.
I'm actually, creating a life with, and building future generations. So it wasn't just about me. It was really about them and about my husband and about that family unit that we're creating. And I think that's one of the things that society sometimes really removes from the family unit, because, there's so many social identities that we have to, that we take on. But the family
Yeah.
dynamic then a lot of times takes a hit when we take
Yeah.
on those social identities. And so I needed to really come to that understanding that being a mom was, you know, really part of the plan all along for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's part of that greater picture. It's not competing, with
Yeah.
that greater picture. So
So I have so many questions now.
yeah.
But the first question I want to ask, and I do know I have a lot of moms that watch, and a lot of entrepreneurs, business
Mm-hmm.
owners, whether real estate agents or independent insurance agents, whatever the case may be, or business owners
Yeah.
that are women. And I love that you bring up the fact of like balancing your kids and your family. And a lot of stuff you say resonates with me. But how did you go into incorporating your children into the business? Like, how do you do that? For like other moms who are watching who feel like they're torn in between,
That's right.
what are talk to me, sister?
Yeah. So there are several things. One of the first things is to really make sure that you're doing something that you love. Okay. Do what you love what you do, because they're watching you. And if you're waking up every day, you hate going to work, or you hate going to, do your business or whatever, and you feel it's a
Yeah.
burden, then they won't want to participate and they won't be inspired, right? So
Yeah.
one of the key things is, the first step is to make sure that who you are is in alignment with what you're doing, because being comes before doing. And those
Yeah.
kids that you're raising, what they're interested about is you, the being, before the doing. And so that's really important. And then once that is settled, and we're really in a field that we're supposed to be in, or we're doing what we're so called to do, or our purpose, then incorporating them becomes so easy. And as a matter of fact, they will develop their own entrepreneurial spirit as well, and bring in ideas, right? So no matter what
Yeah.
age they are, they can, like, I've seen a lot of business, like successful entrepreneurs, do lives with their children, or have incorporate their kids in their marketing,
Yeah.
and so, because nowadays 3-4 years old, they know how to do all this technology stuff better than we
Yeah.
do. you know
It's so true.
you know what I mean? It could be a simple
Yeah.
thing, like, you have your 7-year-old that is really good with with your phone. Have your receipts, and have them take pictures to put it in the QuickBooks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yes, that's so
very
good.
simple thing like that
Yeah.
can make them feel involved, right? And
Right.
teach them some skills at the same time, because we can't let the school system be the ones only teaching our kids some skills, right?
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
really important to, find these different ways to get them involved. And you'll be surprised, even asking them how to market something, because, like,
Yeah.
especially if you have teenagers or young kids,
Right.
they're all online all the time. So they'll have
Yes.
some good ideas for you, and they can also take over some of the things that you can't really be doing,
Yeah.
because you need to be focusing on in your business, and not on the business.
Yeah.
So
And I love that idea. And this will be the first summer that I've been a full-time entrepreneur and that my son will be with me.
okay,
And I'm super excited, but I'm already thinking, okay, like how can I incorporate him into it so that he's not like mad that I'm taking time away from
that's
him,
right.
but I'm like, can I do a Facebook live show with him? Like, can I have
Yeah,
him interview kids? Like my wheels are already spinning because I know he loves to be involved
that's
and he
it.
is tech savvy. So I love that you are giving me ideas. He can definitely take pictures of my receipts
Yes.
or just showing him like how I manage my business or
Yeah.
bringing him on sales runs with me, whatever the case may be. I love that. I love that idea. So I
Awesome.
want
Yeah.
to talk a little bit now because you're and I can relate to this because I've never had a 9 to 5 job I loved. So
Mm.
I'm somewhere in me as an entrepreneur and always has been. So when you said your dream died, and that just like freaks me out to think of like not having the dream of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I know you didn't stay down forever
That's
because
it.
you're back. You're back. So tell us how you transitioned and what is your dream now? What are you doing now? And how did you make it all come together in one magical piece and your life is just perfect now? And how do we have
Well, far from that, but I think the skill of reinventing yourself is really, really important to develop, because especially in the times that we live in, people don't stay in jobs to 20 years anymore.
No.
It is not the way of
I
the
had so
future.
many jobs before I finally was just like, peace out, Corp.
That's right. And
No
so
further. Yeah.
and so every time, if you're in a situation, for example, I was in a situation where after my accident, I needed to do something low key and kind of get back into the
Yeah.
workforce, and rethink my situation.
Yes.
So I ended up,
Tiptoe back
that's
in.
right. So I ended up just offering my services because my background is employment counseling. So I ended
Okay.
up offering my services to a local woman organization that was working with employment services. And so one thing that is really important when you know that you're an entrepreneur, and if you have
Yeah.
to take a job just to kind of get you to another, maybe you're taking another
Yeah.
turn, you need some kind of steady income, which is fine. Make sure that you stay with that entrepreneur mentality and that you go in to the employer with that entrepreneur mentality. So you make sure that they understand that you're an entrepreneur and this is a temporary thing. This is what you can do
Yeah.
for them. So they're kind of like your client, right? So you can
Yeah.
kind
I
of,
love that.
that's right. So you have to see them as your client because you're offering them a
Hmm.
service. They're paying, a regular pay, which is not often what we
Yeah.
get when we're entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning.
Oh
But
yes.
at least they understand that this is a partnership, and where
Yeah.
you want to go from the get-go. You make sure that they understand that, and then you make a plan. So exit plan is super important, and pick a place that actually can help enhance your skill set so that you can easily transition. So what happened with this particular company is that because they were offering grants for women that wanted to start businesses. So
Oh, that's
basically, what
awesome.
I did is I wanted to get a training with I don't know if you know the model, the DISC model. It's a human behavior
Yes.
model. So I wanted
Yeah.
to be certified as a DISC trainer. So they helped me pay for it. So they paid for it in form of a loan, and I kind of made sure that I paid it back. But that allowed me to get my certification, and then they became my first client. So I was
Hmm.
using all of my skills with their clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah, going through. So that's kind of how my consulting and training side of the business, when it came to the disc, that's how it launched. And
Yeah.
and then I ended up being a consultant for a company for 2 years. I loved it. I was doing training for over 200 clinics. It was a weight loss
Wow.
clinic, and I could do it from home. So I was homeschooling at the same time. It was crazy.
Wow.
But what happened was, after a while, I realized that, you know what, I wanted to do more. Even though the pay
Hmm.
was amazing, and but it was a lot of work, and at
Yeah.
some point I was even doing some weeks it was like 90 hours, like it was just crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really a lot of work, but it gave me a lot of experience. But when I
Yeah.
decided to stop, it was kind of too late. So I had a
What you
crash.
mean?
I had a crash with a car, and then I had a crash with a burnout at that point. So I
Hmm.
had two
Okay.
crashes in my life. So this particular crash could have been avoided, but I did not stop in the right timing, you know,
Yeah.
because of the fact that I was really doing well again, right? And the
Hmm.
money was good, and we had a beautiful house, and it was just, I couldn't
Yeah.
just stop, but I should have stopped a lot earlier than I did. And so,
So
yeah.
that brings me to a question,
Mm-hmm.
and as there's kind of three parts to it. There's the mom aspect of it. There's the entrepreneur aspect,
Yeah,
and of course there's the drive because most entrepreneurs are driven. Um, how do you? What advice do you have around balancing all of that? And I've been trying to set boundaries around my time. So in the evenings, like after I do my Facebook Live, and I don't go back onto my computer.
that's right.
I'm trying to have like a separation because I'll literally be sitting there like, ooh. ooh, I need to do this. I need to do that. Like my mind is always going, and I could literally be on my phone or my computer all the time working.
Yeah.
But I have a family, or I have dinner to make, or things like that. How do
Mm-hmm.
you balance that now without getting to the point of crash, burnout?
That's right.
And how do you balance all of that now? I
Yes.
know obviously there's no perfect day or week. Well, there might be days, but like there's no, it's not always perfect. But
Yeah.
what have you found to be helpful?
Yes. So definitely block scheduling is one thing that is super, super important. And when you block schedule the family time, it is
Yeah.
non-negotiable, right? So you have to make sure that you establish these different pockets in your week where if it's family time, if it's church time, if it's friends time, whatever it is. Um, of course, there are some periods where we're more busy than other periods. That's granted. But if
Mm-hmm.
overall you have that schedule that you set for yourself,
Yeah.
then it makes it much more easy, and you're much more efficient in your
Yes.
in your work, because then okay, I have this block where I'm doing this and I'm doing it
Yeah.
to the full. you know
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about this and the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely block scheduling is a number one thing that needs to be established. And the other thing is delegation is very important, and
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. Very, very
Yes.
important. Because
Yes.
sometimes we kind of want to do everything on our own or for
Oh yes.
ourselves, and we're kind of afraid because
Yeah.
we don't know if somebody's going to do it exactly how we want it. And, so you have to kind of let go of the perfectionism. And I've had to be like, okay, I wouldn't have done it that way, but hey, okay, I cannot do it. That's the thing, I can't do everything. So
Yes.
if I'm hiring somebody to do something, or if I'm delegating something to a family member or whoever, because sometimes you can't really afford to hire someone in the beginning.
Yeah.
But another thing that you can do is barter, right? So if you're just
I'm a
starting,
barter plan. Yep.
if you're just starting out and
Yeah.
you kind of meet another entrepreneur that's also just starting out, or that wants to give back. Sometimes there's entrepreneurs that have been in the business for a long time and that
Mm-hmm.
are just kind of retired. Well, you never retire when you're an entrepreneur, but they're
I
less
don't think so.
focused on building themselves, and they want to
Yeah.
kind of give back, and really
Yeah.
prepare the next generation. Those people also can be helpful in creating these collaborations, so that you're not doing everything, because you don't have to do everything you know
Mm-hmm.
it's really important. Some things only you can do, but other things can be
Yeah.
delegated, and it's a matter of making sure that you know what those things are, and that you're ready to let them go
Perfect.
if you're able to let them
Yes.
go.
So two big things:
Mm-hmm.
time blocking, delegation. And one of the things I'm going to comment on that I'm getting out of this is how resourceful you are.
Yes.
So everything from when you had to transition and work for somebody else. So sometimes people are like, they make these excuses. They have these beliefs that I don't have the money right now, or they're working two jobs. But like, if you want it, there's a way. You have to be resourceful.
Yeah.
I'm actually, and speaking of bartering, I am trading social media services for a business
There you
coach.
go.
So
Yes.
it's perfect, and it's like I feel so much better now because I have some guidance for just different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration is
It's
one of the like
huge.
biggest things you can do these days to get
Absolutely.
that step ahead. But
Yeah.
we are pretty much out of time, but this has been one of the most fun episodes, and I feel like we could talk
I
forever,
know.
but I don't want to bore our viewers with too much entrepreneur chat. But I want to ask you one last
Yes.
question, and I ask this to all my guests on the shows. But what would you say to a woman who wants to feel more empowered in her business, in her life as a mother? What would your advice be?
One very big advice, and I said it before: do what you love and love what you
Mm,
do, and be authentic in it.
yeah.
Because if you work for money, it's gonna lead to, yes, burnout. It's gonna lead to
Yeah.
you not fulfilling your purpose. And so
Mhm.
take the time, even if it's one hour a week or something, to really reflect, sit back and say, am I really where I'm supposed to be? And
Mhm.
if I am, then great. Or what
Yeah.
is it that I need to do in order to get out if I'm not? What are the steps that
Yeah.
I can put in order to make sure that I'm doing what I love and I'm loving what I do? And sometimes you need a little help with that. So
Mhm.
getting a coach
Yeah.
is really a good idea sometimes,
Yeah.
because to bounce off some of these things that are going on,
Mhm.
and you may be in the right track but you don't know it. So you
Yeah.
have these, sometimes the mind fatigue brings in a
Mhm.
lot of issues. So
Yeah.
being able to hash it out and having a plan makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I would just piggyback that to say by really learning how to acknowledge how you're feeling.
that's
Like
right.
if you have anxiety on Sunday night about going to work on Monday, that's like a clue. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't feel fulfilled, if you feel like you want to do more with your life, or I've gone through these phases where I'm like, I want more in life, but I have absolutely no
No
idea what I
idea.
want to do.
Yeah,
And honestly, I've had a couple businesses and they've kind of just naturally come to me. So I would say that too. If you want to have a business or you want to do something you love, pay attention to the things that make you happy and the things where you're like feel the most, your heart feels full, or just different things. You just got to start paying attention to those
that's
things,
it.
and the rest will follow.
And be consistent. That's the huge
Yes.
thing.
Don't say y'all tried it for a couple weeks and it didn't work.
That's right. Because it might not be, right away, it might not pick up right away, but be consistent, persevere, don't give
And
up, right? And
yeah,
no, nothing is a failure. Everything can be used towards your success. So all the
I,
different ways that I failed are
yeah,
contributing now to my success. So,
I love that. I love that. Well, we're just going to call it
all
there
right.
before we give it any more value or truth bombs. But I want to thank you so much
Oh, thank
for
you.
taking time out of your super busy schedule and away from the kids and the family and everything that you have going on to talk to us tonight.
It's my
Totally
pleasure.
appreciate it.
My
Oh, it
pleasure.
was so
Thank you
fun.
for having me.
You're welcome. You can go ahead and click on your side and just hit the X and bounce, and I'll go ahead and close out the show.
Perfect. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Kareen.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Do I know how to
So,
do
thank
that?
you guys
Okay.
so Thank you guys so much for watching today. If you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, I hope you found so much value from this show. I had so much fun talking to her. And I have tagged her, of course, in this post. So if you want to follow her, get some of her resources, or learn more about her business, we didn't even get a chance to talk about what she's doing right now. But thanks again for watching. Next week, I'm talking to Taryn, who has quit her corporate job, another entrepreneur, but she travels the world for fun. And I want to know how in the world she's doing it. She has the most amazing photos, but you're going to definitely want to follow her and watch on Instagram. But I will be here next week, same time, same bad place, Thursday, 7 p.m. Thanks again for watching, you guys, and we'll see you next time.